Okay, so Derek Chauvin is guilty on all counts. Now, there is a lot of speculation that Chauvin was overcharged. There is speculation from legal scholars like Alan Dershowitz, who ironically was on the left side, that it should have been manslaughter rather than murder. And obviously, Maxine Ward is the fucking lunatic that she is, and that motherfucker I'll show up there. Terrence Williams showed this. Terrence K. Williams, the funny guy, yeah, he showed this. Al Sharpton literally uploaded a video on his own social media of himself getting on a private plane going to see the Floyd family before the verdict. Obviously, it was when the deliberations were beginning, so, right. There is speculation that the jury did what they did the guilty verdict across the board because they were afraid of BLM riots. I don't know about every state, but there are some states that while the trial's going on, the jury is hidden, anonymous, blah, 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 blah. But some states will actually publish the names of the jury after the fact, after the case concludes. And I doubt very much you wanted to be on the jury and have your name published if you didn't do what you were told. Now, that's a sad thing in America. The jury should not make the verdict because they're being threatened. That's actually a federal crime, by the way. Jury tampering, meaning you bribe the jury, any juror member, okay, one juror. And then there's juror intimidation, which is you physically or mentally or somehow threaten the juror or make the juror feel that if they don't do what they're told, they're going to be harmed somehow. Okay, and obviously Maxine Ward is calling for violence and all that bullshit. That goes a long way. In fact, the judge even said on camera, you probably saw it, that the defense, if convicted, may have a venue of appeal. And they're even talking about going to the Supreme Court. Now, 99.9% of the time, the appeal will overturn the conviction and order the defendant back to trial. And one time out of a million, you'll see the case so fucked up that the appeal will exonerate the defendant entirely. That's very rare, though. And I hate to say it, but that may be the case. He may not get an appeal because he's innocent. He may get an appeal because he didn't get a fair trial. Now, he did have a jury. He did have an attorney. Evidence was presented. But the courtroom was completely locked down by the National Guard. Okay, fenced in, Humvees, all that bullshit at the Capitol. There were threats on social media. There were threats on camera. We will do this and we will do that, okay? And that is horrible. There were many times in my life when I talked about a jury, sorry, allergies, where I talked about a jury, or I said the jury should do this, or if I were on the jury, I would do that. I give that analysis a lot. But I never in my life said I'm gonna fucking bomb a store, or I'm gonna kill the jury. That's the issue is using your violence or your intimidation or some other factor, sorry, my fucking nose is itchy, to threaten the jury is a federal crime, and it should be a federal crime. Imagine how you'd feel if like, well, if I don't find this guy guilty on all counts, they're gonna look up my name in the phone book and kill my family. Or if my name is John Smith and there's 5,000 John Smiths in my hometown, they could systematically start killing us, okay? Because BLM, Antifa, okay, these are fucking terrorists. Now, I don't think Chauvin was a racist. I think he was a stupid motherfucker. I'll explain that. I think I explained it a million times already, but here's the other thing. Okay, let's start from the beginning. He was being investigated for allegedly having a fake counterfeit bill, a fake $20 bill, counterfeit $20 bill. And I said before, and I'll say again, The Secret Service said in the documentary, every single one of us has handled a counterfeit bill for some reason or another. George Floyd was a career criminal and drug addict, okay? He did not have the equipment at hand to counterfeit money, okay? So odds are he didn't know it was counterfeit at all. That was the end of it. The police normally take the counterfeit money, give it to the Secret Service, because the Secret Service is charged with counterfeit. Abraham Lincoln founded the Secret Service. Not to protect him, obviously, but to investigate financial crimes and fraud and, okay, all that stuff, okay, counterfeiting. They all do that shit, okay? That's like 90% of the Secret Service job. And the Secret Service most likely says, yes, it is counterfeit. We'll catalog it in our massive inventory. And the police will say, we don't think the citizen knew it was counterfeit. We're not going to press charges. Okay. Now, when George Floyd was met by police, he was in his truck with his friend, the drug dealer, by the way. And he's in the truck with his friend, and he's tuned up. He's got enough fentanyl in his body to kill 10 people. Now, at that point, the police are no longer interested in the $20 bill. They're now interested in driving under the influence of drugs. Okay? And he's depressed, anxiety, drug addiction. Okay? He's not in the right state of mind. He needs jail. He needs psychological help. He needs physical help. Okay? He's fucked up. At first, he's compliant, handcuffs, sits down. He does what he's told. When they take him to put him in the back of the cruiser, the truck rather, okay, he's 6'4", it's just fucking big. He panics. Go, and there's that big scene, that big fight where they're struggling over him, and they put him on the ground. And when I first talked about the case last year, I said video 1, him being arrested. Video 3, him face down. Where's video 2? Video 2 is the video of him being pushed in, pulled in, struggling, okay? He goes face down. Now, you've heard excessive use of force a million times on television. Police officers do have the power to use physical restraint to take a person into custody. But depending on how compliant the person is, how dangerous the person is, they are limited. It has to be reasonable. Now, pushing and pulling and shoving a guy that's having a panic attack, fine. At the exact moment in question, Floyd is handcuffed, face down on the ground. Yes, he is a multi-time convicted felon. Yes, he did rob a pregnant woman at gunpoint, and the pregnant woman had a little baby sitting in the couch with her. Okay? He's not a nice person. Okay? And he should not be sainted at all. But at the exact moment, Derek Chauvin is supposed to be a police officer. He's supposed to bring George Floyd to jail. Now, George Floyd did have enough drugs in his body to kill 10 people, and most autopsy experts, pathologists, okay, they believe he would have died within an hour anyway. So you've got a guy face down on the ground, handcuffed. He's now helpless. 2 minutes ago, he was pushing and pulling. He's now helpless. A smart thing to do would be to kneel down next to him, call and get the paddy wagon. The paddy wagon can be controlled by the jail, the police, or both. The paddy wagon is the van. It's a little bit bigger. Put him in that. Or get the ambulance, have a cop go with him in the ambulance and cuff him to the gurney. Fine. Okay, there's several ways to do it, okay? If he starts to struggle, put your hands on his back. If that's bad, put your knee on his back, okay? You'd be surprised how much punishment the back can take or the chest can take. When I was working in a supermarket, a guy was shoplifting disposable cameras. Store detective caught him in the exit. You know, you walk down that little exit hallway, and yeah, he tried to punch store detective. Store detective is a big black guy. He's a little skinny white guy. Store detective body slams him. I'm outside pushing carts. I run inside. I see him reach for something. Store detective broke his wrist. Store detective broke it. I dove on top of him and I knelt on his chest and I broke two of his ribs. My mother got the fucking bill from the doctor. She was the police, the police account at the time. It's like, yeah, that was fucking crazy. My mother called me from work and said, he broke his wrist, he broke his ribs, he had a hypo in his back pocket, he was hepatitis C positive. I had to get tested. Ooh. Okay? I broke his ribs. But he survived. Backs can take unbelievable pressure. I saw a video one time of an elite gymnast. She dove right on the floor and had her friend walk on her. Her friend outweighed her by about 25 pounds. Yeah. Totally comfortable. You've seen Game of Thrones. Okay? Remember the prostitute Kyla? Her real name is Pixie Lynott. Her Christian name is Jennifer Keith. She's a contortionist. She was in that scene with the prostitutes and then the scene of the wedding. The next season over, okay? She does contortion and contortion training. She has students that are 5, students that are my age. Okay? Contortion, body, okay, shit like that. She was in downtown London. You know the big red phone booth in London? They still got them, like tourist attractions? Yeah, phone booths, right? I'm old, right? She wanted to get on top of the phone booth. And she wanted to demonstrate how strong her student was. And she took her 12-year-old student. And she's 20 years her senior. This is a year and a half ago, before the virus broke out. Almost 2 years ago, I think. She took her 12-year-old student, who was 20 years her junior, took her and told her to lean forward. And the student actually leaned forward, bent over, and leaned onto the phone booth. And she jumped on her back and jumped on top of the phone booth. Okay? 12-year-old girl, like this, with a 32-year-old woman standing on her back. Okay? Totally comfortable. So backs can take a lot of punishment. You saw Case Bolt throw the girl down and kneel on her back. And Case Bolt heavier than Chauvin. Backs can take a lot of punishment. You got the ribs there. You got a lot of protection there. Okay? I wouldn't condone beating the shit out of someone on their back or jumping on their back. I wouldn't condone that. But I'm just saying, if you put your knee on their back, okay? Chauvin could have put his knee on Floyd's back, and Floyd would have died an hour later of a drug overdose, and that would have been the end of it, okay? No big deal. But the neck is very, very sensitive. Now, Floyd is laying flat down on the concrete with his head on the concrete, and Chauvin takes his knee and puts his knee on his throat. Okay? That is excessive force. Even though he's a police officer doing an arrest, that is unnecessary and it becomes assault. Even though you are a police officer and have certain powers, when you go too far, you cross over to assault. And attacking the neck in most police departments is considered deadly force. My professor, the Virginia State Trooper, he always said to me, if you're going to attack the neck, shoot them in the head. It's the same fucking thing. So, the pressure in the neck, and that eventually killed him. He died right on camera. And the autopsy did say he was going to die an hour later anyway, but if you went into the cancer ward and there was a guy who was stage 4 cancer that's going to die in an hour, and you whip out your knife and stab him, that's still murder. Okay? If you have a guy on death row and he's going to be executed at 12:01 a.m. by lethal injection, and the executioner comes in to the jail cell at 11:50 p.m. and strangles him to death, that's murder. even though the executioner was gonna kill him 11 minutes later with a needle, choking him now 11 minutes early is murder. Okay, even though the guy is dead or sentenced to die, if you kill him sooner, that's still murder. So even though he was almost certainly gonna die, okay, the odds of him coming out of that overdose alive was about 100 to 1, if not less. But the fact that you okay, that made it worse. Now Chauvin had about 17 civilian complaints, and he was never benched. Okay, I don't think he's a racist. I think he's a psychopath. I'll give you an example. Recent example. It's now Wednesday morning. Matter of fact, my cousin that passed away last year, today's her birthday. Okay. Monday, I'm at work. There's a black man. I've seen this man before. He has some problems. One time I saw him months ago. He's jaywalking, and I point him out to the car, so make sure I didn't hit him. He's like, "Oh man, I love you," and he freaking hugs me. A few weeks later, I see the guy. I'm in the street. That's the man right there. That man is great. That man is awesome. He's only for 5 fucking minutes. Okay? He's black. He has a couple mental problems. I don't know what they are. I'm not a psychologist. But he's harmless. Now, Monday, I see him again in the street. Fist bump, and he hugs me. I love you, man. Yeah. I got okay, good. You love me. That's great. And then a woman comes out of the pharmacy, and he hugs her, and he loves her too. And she's pushing him away. Like I said, he has mental issues, but he's not violent. And she pushes him away. Then he goes into the pharmacy, and all you hear the pharmacist say is, "Get the fuck out of here!" He runs away. I don't know if I'm going to hug one of the pharmacists or whatever, but okay. Now here's the problem. Even though I'm not a cop, I'm a representative of a police department. I'm white. He's black. He has a few problems upstairs, and he's literally saying out loud, "I love you." And even though he's being a real pain in the ass, he's not hurting anyone. Now, if I were to push him, body slam him, punch him, kick him, okay, as he was getting, okay, is he gonna run away crying, or is he gonna get violent? I don't know. But do I want to be seen in an area where there are stores that have surveillance cameras and guys are walking around with cell phone cameras beating up a black person with a mental illness who was literally saying, "I love you"? No, I don't. I don't. Maybe if he went to grab a little kid, would have pushed him away, or if he went to punch someone, or if he went to grab someone's boob, or okay, yeah, maybe it's a different story. But now Chauvin has a guy face down in the concrete who is, and there's 50 ways to do this. Okay, like get the paddy wagon, which is bigger. Okay, get the ambulance there, tie him down, and go ride with him to the hospital or to the jail where he's gotta go. Okay, there's 5,000 ways to do this. Okay, and he gets in his head, "I'm a white cop. I got a black suspect in custody. He's handcuffed. He's face down on the concrete. He's having an overdose." Okay? There's people around. Every single one has a cell phone camera. Let me put my knee in his throat. What could possibly go wrong? Okay? Chauvin had to be an absolute psychopath. Because good versus evil aside, okay, threat versus non-threat aside, okay, saint versus sinner aside, you are a white police officer in broad daylight in the middle of the street with guys looking directly at you with cameras, and you're like, I know, I'll put my knee in his throat. I won't put my knee on his back. I won't put my hand on his back. I won't tase him, okay? I won't put more cuffs on him. I won't tie up a rope. I'll just put my knee in his throat. Okay? That is a really, 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 really fucking, stupid idea. Okay? What the fuck do you think is gonna happen? Okay? You got your knee on a guy's throat as he's laying prone with his hands cuffed. Okay? You're there for 9 minutes and you're on camera. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen? Okay? You're like a white girl that goes to OJ's house. Okay, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen? Stupid. Okay, stupid. I understand when the guy's got a gun. I understand when the guy's got a knife. I understand when the guy's jumping out of you. I understand that. Okay, I understand Mike Brown. I understand that Adam Toledo. Okay, I understand that shit. Okay. I understand. Like, I've seen video footage. I've seen documentation of guys that pull knives out on cops, guys that lurk in the alley when a cop comes by. I've seen that shit. Okay, I comprehend that. Okay, but you got this guy face down on the ground with his hands cuffed. You're like, What do you think is gonna happen? And one thing they said is in the video. There's actually one scene in the video where the tire, he starts picking rocks, little pebbles out of the tire treads. Like, boop, boop, boop. Like, you don't give a fuck, okay? And the prosecutor argued, and rightly so, that what he was doing was just absolute fucking evil indifference, okay? Not good, bad. It was indifference. He didn't give a fuck, okay? He was oblivious, okay? That dude should not have been a cop, okay? That dude is straight up crazy. Like, what could possibly go wrong in this situation? Okay? Of all the stupid shit I've seen in my life, that was the worst. Okay? Forget about manslaughter versus murder versus felony murder versus assault, okay? What the fuck are you thinking? Okay? It's not the 1920s, okay? Down in fucking Alabama, okay? 100 years ago in Alabama, what is it? Fine, great, break his neck, okay? It's not the 1970s in New York City when the cop will take the flashlight and break it over the guy's head, okay? You're in the fucking 21st century when everybody's got a camera on their phone, on their key ring, okay? Everything is a camera these days, okay? The phone's a camera. The iPad's a camera. Okay, your fucking underwear's a camera these days. You're like, maybe I could restrain you like this. Okay, you're fucking sick. Okay, you're fucking sick. Well, the police academy taught the knee and neck routine. Okay, cool, they did. The police academy hadn't updated their training since the 1970s. All right. Use your fucking brain. I'm white, he's black. They got cameras. It's broad daylight, okay? What the fuck is gonna happen? Okay? Half the country burned because of this stupid motherfucker. Now, granted, BLM did that because they wanted to, because they're sick bastards in their own right. Okay? But you gave half the fucking country an excuse. They were already psychos in their own right, and all they wanted was your excuse. Okay? Stupid. Use your fucking brain. Okay? Use your brain. Okay? People are just fucking dumb, man. And I'm not gonna defend George Floyd, okay? He was a junkie, and his friend in the car with him, they're gonna indict him soon for murder. Because don't forget, people like the cop broke George Floyd's neck. Okay, cool. His friend gave him drugs he OD'd on, and he was gonna die an hour later anyway. Black on black violence. Silence. In fact, there was a little girl, Jacelyn Adams, her name was Jacelyn, okay, 7 years old, in a car in McDonald's drive-thru in Chicago 3 days ago, shot dead. Okay, I saw video footage of a crowd, and the cops open up the passenger side door. If the person's dead, leave it for frenzy. Okay? If the person's alive, they might, the neck brace, the restraint, the stretcher, the IV. Okay? No. This girl, the cop most likely felt the faint pulse. The cop went up to the passenger side, opened the door, picked her up, threw her in his truck, drove her away. And the guy saying, "Oh my God, they killed a fucking baby." You got a 7-year-old fucking baby in Chicago, fucking shot dead by gangbangers. Okay, I am hearing silence. Okay, the silence is deafening. Okay, George Floyd. That was wrong. That was wrong. Okay, convicted felon killed by psycho cop. Okay, that's wrong. But because it exalts their narrative of white cops murdering black people for sport, BLM, BLM, BLM. Okay, 7-year-old black girl shot dead in a fucking car in McDonald's parking lot, McDonald's drive-thru. Okay, I hear silence. I am hearing absolute silence about this. Okay, I challenge you. I challenge you right now to find any celebrity, not a conservative, any celebrity on the left. Okay, any celebrity on the left, Jodie Sweetin. I challenge you to find them mention this girl, Jacelyn Adams, 7 years old, Chicago. I challenge you. All right, my throat's killing me. I gotta go. Good night, or good morning, rather.